Hello, YouTube. It's Carrie here. You might be hearing some noise in the background from Gaston over there. I wanted to talk to you today about how to start adapting your diet to something better. I think a lot of people run into problems when they try to make sudden changes in your diet. Anybody who's got pets, we know that if we change their food immediately, they have issues in the bathroom, right? You slowly have to change the ratios in the food if you want to make sure that they ease into a new diet, right? And it's sort of the same thing when it comes to you and me. When I first started changing my diet around, it was a process. It was definitely a process. And you know what? Sometimes when you add new foods in, you get some digestive distress. It's important when you're starting to make those changes to track these things. That way, we can better see what our body's like, what they don't react well to. Maybe it's just a matter of how much of it we're eating. Maybe it needs to be a smaller ratio versus the rest of the food that we have. So adapting your body to a better diet, it doesn't happen all at once. For me, it was definitely a process. There were steps that I sort of went through in how I was thinking about how food was affecting my body and how I wanted to change things and see where it took me. My best advice is to do it slowly but deliberately. I'm going to talk a little bit about different things to work on and what to start with first, as opposed to trying to get to the finish line before running the race, right? Adapting your body to that better micro profile is a process. So I would say the very first target, if you're not already there, is sugar. Sugar has definite influence on our hunger. It affects our insulin response and drives hunger, drives a lot of what our choices are driven by the diet that we currently eat. So, number one thing, sugar. Once you've worked on getting sugar out of your diet, artificial sweeteners is the next target because that's going to affect, number one, it affects your microbes for sure. And it is not really a healthy microbe profile if you're having a lot of artificial sweeteners in your diet. So you want to migrate against artificial sweeteners and get them out of your diet. And you'll find that once you're there, you can start adding very small amounts of sugar or sweetener in, or like even just natural fruit or juice to something, or honey. It has a much stronger sweet flavor once you've removed sugar and artificial flavor, like artificial sweeteners from your diet. It changes the way that you perceive that. So sugar, artificial sweeteners, and the next target to work on is carbs. Definitely simple carbs, get them out of your diet. So that white flour, white rice, potatoes, pasta, that type of thing, bread, crackers, cereal, noodles. Those are things to work on getting out. So sugar, artificial sweeteners, carbs. Next thing to work on. Okay, let's start working on adding veggies in. If you start adding in a bunch of raw veggies into your diet all of a sudden, you are going to have digestive distress. Guaranteed. If you suddenly add a bunch of cruciferous, so like cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, so cruciferous vegetables or beans into your diet, yes, those are gas producing. When you're not used to it, you're going to get a lot of gas. So be careful with those things. Go for cooked veggies first. Things that you might already have in your diet, add a little bit more, right? If there are some veggies in the stuff that you're already eating, push out the carbs a bit more, increase the veggies that you've already got, and then start adding in different types of cooked vegetables. You want to make sure they're cooked because it helps with the breakdown, right? The cellulose in plant structures is what's hard to digest. That's that fiber content. when we cook things, it starts breaking them down, right? It releases the water, and caramelizes the food. It helps develop the flavors. You want to add cooked veggies in first, and not just boiled veggies. Like, you want them really to be good, right? Um, so foods that you already eat, and then start adding variety into the diet, right? Try, every couple of weeks or every month even, try a new vegetable that you've never had before. It's very, very easy to bring something home from the store and say, okay, what do I have here? I have something called radicchio. Let me look up on the internet what I can make with this, right? There's a million recipes out there for every vegetable you can imagine. So even if you've never heard of something called cardoon, try cardoon, right? And then see how to prep that. And we'll slowly start adding variety to what you eat. And then after you've gotten that in, a little bit more cooked vegetables and a little bit of variety, then start increasing the amount of raw vegetables and salad content in the diet. Once you've got microbes all ready to deal with that plant content. I gotta go let him out. All right, so the next thing to go for is the kinds of food that we're eating, right? So most of us are used to a very, very processed food diet. You also want to change this gradually. And it'll get you used to different flavors and different tastes and maybe things you haven't really had before or haven't had in a long time. So you want to go to reducing processed food. The next step is going to be increasing cooking, right? And don't think you have to learn everything in the book all at once. No. Go for small targets first, right? You brought home a new vegetables. Let's say you brought home French green beans from the store and you don't know what to do with them. Look up how to make green bean almondine. It's very good, right? So that's also got an extra different proteiny, input in there with the almonds. There's a lot of ways to sort of slowly add these things into the diet. And even when you're going from reducing processed foods, you can go from something like like a green pea chip, like they have those pea pod chips, or what, I can't remember what they're called. Go from that to something like, instead of having that for a snack, go to the frozen section and get a Green Giant green bean almondine. Even they have that. You can get that frozen where it can just cook in the microwave for like a minute and a half or whatever. Or no, I think it's more than that, like 6 minutes or anyhow. But from more processed to less processed to your own cooking. And then from there, start exploring stuff like farmers markets. Start thinking about growing some of your own food. It changes the nutrient content of what's available in your food. It changes the variety. The local aspects of that is important. And the natural growing aspect of that is also very important because of the microbes that are associated with those foods. I'm going to go let them in. Here's my little stinky muffin here. Hey. All right, so let me go over that step again. You want to be going from more processed foods to less processed food to more home cooking, and then to actually more locally grown food and growing your own food if you can. And that could be as simple as doing like microgreens on your counter. You can do that under a shop light. It's they don't need a lot of light to grow, and so it all depends on how far you want to take it. But that is the progression: less processed, more cooking, and then start making your own food or getting it locally from a farmer's market. Let me put this little guy down. All right, so next, so what kinds of food can you make with things? Again, going straight to like a raw veg diet is very upsetting to the system. Cooked foods help with the digestion because they're already started to break down, right? So soups and stews are a great place to start. It helps you kind of like get everything down. And do it like a smaller amount, and then you can slowly increase depending on how you're doing with your system. So you want to go from soups and stews to more like cooked veggies and greens, roasted veggies, so a little bit less cooked or processed. But still, you want to make sure that the flavor development is there. A lot of veggies are actually more nutritious when they're cooked with the fat, especially certain grains. So pan frying something after you blanch it is great, or just even throwing spinach in the pan with a little bit of olive oil and garlic and salt and chili, like that's great. So start slowly, like adding those kinds of things in, and then go to more raw vegetable diet. And when you do that sort of slowly, it will give your body time. It'll give the microbes in your gut time to colonize and help you actually digest that food. So it's a process. It's not something you could just do in a day. It's not even something you can do in a week. Think of it in terms of like at least like a 3 or 4 months process of going from the current diet slowly through these steps to get to where you want to be. And so then the last thing that I want to add is that you want to be adding things into your diet that help support the new microbes that are trying to move in. So adding probiotics into your diet is a great thing to do. Stuff like kraut and kimchi. There's a video I did a couple back on probiotics and why they're so important. The other part of that is try and get some collagen in your diet. So get some fish that's cooked with the bone on. It has a lot of collagen, or like save the bones in the fish that you do and do like a fish stock from that, and then do a soup based on that. That collagen in the diet, or get a bone broth, or make your own bone broth. Making your own bone broth is great. You can use, like, if you get roast chicken all the time, just save those bones, keep them in like a little plastic bag in the freezer. That's what I do, and then I load them up until I have enough to do a full batch, and then I do a big batch of broth. And when you make them from the bones yourself, you get a lot of collagen in there, right? I do that in the Instant Pot. It's super easy. And again, there's lots of recipes on how to do that. Probiotics, collagen. So the collagen basically lines your intestine and creates a nice healthy bed of soil for the microbes to move into. That's how that works. The probiotics and collagen kind of work together to enable the environment in your gut to be more hospitable to the good beneficial bacteria that helps you digest healthy food. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. That seems like there's a lot of information in there for all of you to digest. So if you have any questions, write them down below and I can clarify them in a subsequent video. I hope everybody is doing great. If you like this video, like and share it, subscribe to the channel, and ring the little bell there so you get the notifications. Where is it? Here? Is it there? I don't know. Wherever it is, ring it. And I will see you next time. Have a healthy week, everybody. Bye.